and welcome to this video log with me, Wayne, from swimmingcyclingrunning.com. Well, today's vlog is a little bit longer than normal because I'm going into planning, and planning is hugely important in everything we do in life, but particularly in sport. If you want to get to a particular place, you have to know how to get there. You need to know where you are today and where you need to be in the future and plan a route to actually get there. We're going to look at that in three ways. We're going to look at the London Triathlon and the Blenheim Triathlon, two hugely popular triathlons in the UK. In the London Triathlon, we're looking at getting a specific time. We're going to see what we need to do to get below 2 hours 30 in that triathlon. In the Blenheim Triathlon, what we're looking at is two separate things. We're looking at just finishing it, because a lot of people come into triathlon as a real challenge. And it's a challenge to finish, and we'll see what you need to actually be able to finish. Secondly, in that triathlon, we're going to look at potentially podiuming in your age group within the Blenheim Triathlon. So we've got three different ideas, three different plans, three different speeds we need to hit. Let's go to the computer, have a look, and we'll come back later. Setting yourself an achievable target is really important. So we've decided we want to do the London Triathlon, but we want to see if it's feasible for us to do it in under 2 hours 30. So there's a good starting place, and that is actually the results from last year. So you can see with Google, I've put in AJ Bell London Triathlon 2017 results. Now the fourth down is AJ Bell London 2016 sportive results. I'd prefer the 2017, but if I go to that site, you'll see that I do find AJ Bell all results there. I can actually sort that down if I really wanted to. I could take down just the male results. I can have all the results. I can have the female results. I can do it by age category if I really want to. I think for the moment we'll do all results, because if I decide to download it, it actually downloads as an XLS file. You can see down here, it's an XLS. It's actually a spreadsheet. And once I save that spreadsheet, I can actually do some filtering of my own. And that is what I'm going to show you next. Now, once we download the information, we have just a plethora of results. And there's loads of things we can actually look at. See how far it goes across here. Now, most of this information isn't particularly useful to us, so we want to get rid of some of these columns to make it more readable. I'm going to get rid of some of the columns and then I'll come back. So what I've done is I've got rid of all those columns and I'm just expanding it a bit so you can see it much easier. Okay, so what we've got now, I don't really need the bib number, but I've kept it. We've got an overall position, a name, a chip time, which is the finishing time, category in the British Triathlon age group categories, gender, leg on the swim, so that's the swim time each person took, the time through T1 that they took, the bike time that they took, the time through T2, and the run time. And finally, the last column I've got is once again the cumulative time to the end, so that this and those two, D and Z columns, should actually match. Now, what I think I want to do is try and aim for 2 minutes 30, sub 2 minutes 30. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down to where the 29-minute people start. So 2 hours 29 minutes starts here. And I reckon I'm going to get rid of everything above that and everything below it. So I'm just going to hide it. And now at the top of the list, at the very top of the list, you'll see I've got 2 hours 29 minutes and 1 second. I'm just going to hide the rest and then we'll get on to a few calculations. So now I only have those in view that are between 29 minutes, 2 hours 29 minutes that is, and 2 hours 30. So if I wanted to shorten it down, I could get everything into one view if I wanted to. What I'm actually going to do is just add the plus button to create another sheet. I'm going to select everything that I've got. I'm going to copy it, Control C, go on to the next sheet, go up and paste that in. And now I should be able to do some calculations on it that actually make sense. Once we have the selection we want on a different sheet, it's completely separate to everything else, we can start doing some interesting calculations. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click down in this square there just to go one lower, and I'm going to go equals AVE, and we get up a list of options. I'm going to choose average. I'm going to put my cursor and click in there and drag whilst I'm holding the button down all the way to the top. Now I'm going to just press return, and I get the average time of everyone in that selection. I'm just going to copy that with the Command C. I'm going to click in a square, drag it along, and then go Command V to paste it. And now what I have is I've actually got, for the swim, T1, bike, T2 and run leg, averages of all those people there. I'm just going to save that because it should stop that flashing. So we have an average of 29 minutes and 16 seconds, 4 minutes and 1 through transition, 1 hour 7 minutes and 54 seconds, 2 minutes 52 through T2, 45 minutes 29 seconds through the run, and totaling 2 hours 29:30, which is what you'd expect because I'm averaging anyone from 29 minutes to 30 minutes. Now what we can do from that is calculate the average speed we need to travel at in order to get those particular speeds. So let's just do that, and I'll come back and show you the results. Because you effectively have to convert the minutes to seconds, I have a little form that I naturally keep that I can just plug in the figures and get average speeds up. So the London Triathlon suggests that it is a 1500 swim. It definitely is a 40-kilometre cycle, and definitely is 10 kilometres. How accurate that is, we can't necessarily tell, but that will give us certain speeds. So 29:16 gives us an average speed of 117.0 seconds per 100. Now that's 1 minute 57 seconds per 100. It gives us an average cycle speed of 35.35 kilometers an hour, and it gives us a run speed of 13.19 kilometers an hour. So my guess was fairly accurate there, that you're going to have to run about 13. Now, you might think that, hang on a second, I can easily beat that swim time with the time I'm doing now. In which case, all that gives you, or what that does give you, is some wiggle room in the other two. Assuming you can match these people through transition, and there's no real reason to believe you can't if you can match these speeds, then a little bit of transition practice will definitely hone that down and get you there. But you are going to have to fiddle with these figures to say, okay, well, I might not be able to do 35 kilometers an hour, but I can do, let's say, 32. Where can I pick up my time? Well, if you can pick up enough in the swim, then fine, you can just run at 13 kilometers an hour. If you can't do that, then you're going to have to suggest, hang on a second, what can I do on the run to get that to closer to 13.5 kilometers an hour? And all your training from that point on will be geared to these figures, or the ones that you believe you can really do. And if you spend your whole time training and planning to hit those times, effectively on the day, you're going to be honed in on the things you need to do to actually achieve your target of a sub 2 hour 30 finish at the London Triathlon. We're now looking at the Blenheim Triathlon and the results from that from 2017. And we're going to look at this in two ways. The first way we're going to look at it is just finishing the race. The second way we're going to look at it is actually competing and trying to podium in your age group. Okay, so let's start by looking at finishing the race. So I'm now looking at the bottom end of the finishers, and we have Claire Watkins here, who finished in 3 hour 35. And what we're going to do is we're going to take Claire Watkins and all the way down to those who finished in 2 hours 45 minutes or longer. We're going to copy that, paste it to our second sheet, and see what the figures are. We have those records copied to our second sheet. I'm just going to go equals AV, and average comes up. We'll click average, and we'll click in the last square and drag up to the top. Press return. We get the average. Command C to copy that, and drag a block out, then Control V to paste those, and we get all of our averages that we can now paste into our template that we did with the London Triathlon. Now, one thing about the Blenheim Triathlon is that the swim is 7:50, that's exact, but the cycle is 19.8, and the run is 5.4. So we've got a slightly longer run and a slightly shorter bike than we would have in an absolutely spot-on distance race. That's because it's effectively raced around a particular course, and the course can't be changed. We get average speeds of 261 seconds per 100 meters, which is 3 minutes 21. So 3 minutes 21 per 100 you need. We also get an average speed on the cycle of 15:22. It is fairly hilly at the Blenheim, and we also get an average run speed of 6.61 kilometers per hour. Now 6.61 kilometers an hour is a fast walk, so if you can fast walk this triathlon, you can complete it. Nobody should not be able to complete the Blenheim Triathlon. I've just proven it to you. You, whoever you are looking at this, can complete the Blenheim Triathlon and have what is a wonderful day out. But what if just finishing isn't enough? What if you actually want to see how competitive you can be in your age group? You want to come top 10, or even better still, you want to podium. Well, now we can also use this list for that. We can reduce the numbers so that we only have one age group in there, and from that point we can actually look at what we're going to have to do to potentially get top 10 or potentially on the podium. Now I've selected the 50 to 54 age group just at random really. You do that by clicking the category and you can select the actual age group you want. You can see I've just clicked the 50 to 54 category, so that's what's come up. Now there's a huge range of times. We've got 1 hour 13. Remember the winner was about 1:07, so that's a pretty fast athlete there, and it goes all the way down. This is a huge triathlon, all the way down to 2 hours 42. So we've got a massive range, but what we're really interested is the top 10. So we're going to take the top 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and we're going to plug that into our next sheet and see what that gives us. Now initially you might think that taking the top 10 isn't necessarily going to get you near the podium, but when you look at the averages it actually will. If we take the total time here of 1:19:20, you can see that 1:19:20 would actually put us in 5th place. And 5th place is not that far from the podium, so we are getting a good average of what we're going to have to do in terms of speed when we plug it into our next little table, which gives us the average speeds we need. So this is our final look at this graph for now. We've got 13:21 as a swim, 35:38 as a bike ride, and 24:22 as a run. Now what that gives us is 13.3 kilometers an hour as run speed. I would suggest because Blenheim is quite hilly, you'd have to be running at about 14 kilometers an hour to get that. We have 33:03 as a cycle speed, that's 33 kilometers an hour, not miles per hour. And we have 106, which is 146.8 as a swim speed. Now none of those should actually worry anyone who's a seasoned triathlete. Within that age group, I don't think any of those figures should actually worry anyone. You should be able to train up to get all of these. You will nearly always in triathlon have a weakness, and you're going to have to work on that weakness perhaps more than others, or you're going to have to accept that my weakness is this, I'm going to have to make it up somewhere else. But at least this is a starting point for you to work at from today till next June effectively, to say, right, these are the speeds I need to be able to maintain to be able to get near that podium at Blenheim in 2018. Okay, so hopefully that's convinced you that if you want to go into a triathlon, you can actually finish it. Looking at those speeds you have to do, none of those should be onerous for anyone. However, if you want to plan for specific things, then you're going to have to be a little bit more careful about your planning. You've got to assess where you are today and where you might get to in 6-8 months' time. Now, if you've got 6 to 8 months, it's quite easy to actually improve. But the improvement you need has to be based on a speed you actually must achieve to get to your goal. There's no point in deluding yourself and thinking that you can actually get to, for example, a podium in the Blenheim Triathlon when you just simply can't get that speed up. Now, if you can't get it up for next year, you may well be able to get it up for the year after. So you may have a 2-year plan to actually achieve your goals, assuming you stay within the same age group. You have to know where you're aiming for to be able to get there. Okay, hopefully that's helped you. It's been a bit long, but hopefully that really has helped you gain an idea of how to plan your next season to gain the maximum success. And if you're doing the London or Blenheim, excellent stuff. I might see you there. Keep up.